What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So before I get into the video, I want to give a big shout out to Daryl Sloan for the $3 donation via the Cash App. Much respect to Daryl Sloan for showing love to Too Raw for TV. He is an NBA historian of the highest order. You know, this guy loves the NBA history. It's always enjoyable listening to him. Well, actually, we're reading because we communicate on Messenger. But it's always enjoyable him bringing up facts to me, video suggestions, and I love someone that shares that passion for the history of the game like I do, man. He can go all the way back to the 40s, but he keeps me on my toes because sometimes I be forgetting some of the information that he tells me. So he keeps me on my feet, and I really enjoy the rapport between me and him. So shout out uh, once again to Daryl Sloan for showing love to the channel. And with that in mind, I thought I would go ahead and continue with this top 10 playoff performers list. Now, I want to warn people that you're not going to agree with how I got some of these people ranked. I already know that from the get go. All right, so just keep that in mind. And also, this is playoffs. It doesn't mean this is how I got my all time list ranked, but this is playoffs. All right, so I got to keep it real. Sometimes the regular season might be pushing some guys up further overall, and the regular season might be pushing some guys down a little bit. But this is where I got number eight. This is why I have it number eight is Shaquille. What is his middle name? Rashawn, I think. I think his name is Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal. And I feel comfortable putting him right here because look, 20 years ago, and this gets forgotten, there was a GOAT debate between Shaq and Jordan, and I guess Wilt, who was the guy that people always compare him to, even though their games were pretty dissimilar. But after Shaq's very dominant MVP campaign in 2000, he should have won more MVPs, by the way, as should have Kobe Bryant. But after that 3 year stretch with the three-peat and the dominant performances in the finals, that's when you actually saw Shaq getting to that argument as far as GOAT is concerned. Because people were projecting, man, this guy is going to be like Michael Jordan, but just more dominant. But what happened was Shaq just did not take care of himself. He did not dedicate himself to basketball the same way that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant did. And as a result, Shaq started breaking down by the time he was 30, 31 years old. And toward the end of his career, the last several years, he became a really good player, then a good player who could show you glimpses, spurts of what he once was. But then toward the end, he was just a shell of himself. And, had he taken better care of himself, he could have been an effective player probably, deeper into his 30s. But still, what he accomplished is a lot, man. I mean, he played 19 seasons. And in the 19 seasons he played, his teams qualified for the playoffs 17 times. So let me just go with the overall numbers right quick. The overall numbers, um, he averaged 24.3 points in the playoffs, 11.6 rebounds, and 2.7 assists, and 2.1 blocks. Now, one aspect of his game that I thought he could have been better at, Shaq, would be shot blocking. I thought that he was a somewhat underwhelming shot blocker. Not horrible, not bad, but I just thought he could have been a more dominant shot blocker. And he was earlier in his career when he was thinner. Earlier in his career when he was thinner, he was a better shot blocker, but as he got bigger and bulkier, his range of movement got worse and, you know, didn't quite have the same lift. So as a consequence, he wasn't as dominant a shot blocker. He led the playoffs in scoring once. That was the 99-2000 season, where he averaged 30.7 points per game. He led the playoffs in blocks twice, even though I just said he wasn't as dominant as I thought he could be. 1999 and 2004, he led the playoffs in blocks and led the playoffs in rebounding twice, 2000 and 2001, averaging 15 rebounds per game, both playoffs. If you narrow it down to his prime, which I consider 1992 to 2004, then his playoff averages go up to 27.2 points, 12.9 rebounds, 3.1 assists, and 2.4 blocks per game. Overall, in the playoffs, Shaq shot 56% from the floor, which during the era that he played in was very good, but it's a little bit below his uh, regular season percentage. And he only shot 50.4% from the line for his career in the playoffs. But as he tends to say, he made them when it counted. He won 4 NBA championships, of course, the three-peat from 2000 to 2002, and of course the championship with Miami when he was a sidekick to Dwayne Wade, or a lesser co-partner, I'll say, to to Dwayne Wade in 2006. 3 Finals MVPs. He appeared in 6 overall finals: 1995, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2004, and 2006. Um, Shaq was just an overwhelming player, man. Um, in the NBA Finals, he has one of the highest scoring averages in the history of the league, 28.8 points per game. So, are there any knocks on Shaq as far as his playoff career is concerned? Well, there's a couple things you could mention. Number one, until Phil Jackson became the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers in '99, one knock on Shaq is that he played well in the playoffs. He played well, but he didn't raise his game to the level that was possible for him. He would put up 25 and 11, good numbers, but he didn't put up dominant numbers, like what he's 100% max effort. And he started doing that in the finals, okay? And you couldn't knock it. His numbers were phenomenal. Between 2000 and 2002, he averaged something like 36 points a game, or 38 points a game or something like that in the finals. 15, 16 rebounds. He's putting up unbelievable, just super Chamberlain-esque numbers. But there was a knock on this too. And the knock is that, well, look at his opponents. Earlier on when he was going up against Elijah Wan and Karl Malone and, Barkley and some of these other guys, um, he wasn't quite putting up the same numbers, but against a beat up Rick Smits, Todd McCullough, an older Dikembe Mutombo, you know, he dominated, but he wasn't going up against the greatest centers in the world. And then another knock you can put on him, man, is that this guy got swept in the playoffs more than anybody else I can think of. He got swept in the playoffs in '94 by the Pacers. In the first round, I believe, he got swept in '95 in the finals by the cardiac kids, I call them, the Houston Rockets. In '96, the Bulls swept them in that revenge Eastern Conference Finals. In '98, they got swept by Utah. In '99, they got swept by the Spurs. And in 2007, when he was with Miami, they got swept shockingly as defending champions, I believe, by the Chicago Bulls. Either it was a sweep. No, it was a sweep. And then 2 other series, it was 4-1. '97, it was 4-1 against Utah. And then surprisingly, in 2005, his team lost 4-1 to the Detroit Pistons. So many times, Shaq's teams underperformed. So because of that, I feel comfortable kind of putting him right here in this spot right here, man. Individually, awesome numbers, but he could have got more from him. So anyway, tell me what you guys think.